discussion on public-private collaboration for railway projects. This would be conducted by Dr. M.P. Ramnavas. He is Director of Projects in Kochi Metro. So I request Dr. M.P. Ramnavas to please kindly come on the dais. Director of Projects, Kochi Metro. Joining Dr. Ramnavas would be V. Ajit Kumar, MD of Kerala Rail Development Corporation. A round of applause for both of these gentlemen. H.K. Raghu, Senior Professor, Rolling Stock, Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management, Lucknow. And S.K. Mishra from Canara Bank, is he there? S.K. Mishra, Deputy GM, Canara Bank, yeah, he's there. Aye, Mr. Mishra, a very warm welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, the topic of this discussion is public-private collaboration opportunities in railways projects. Session would be conducted by Dr. M.P. Ramnavas, Director of Projects, KMRCL. So over to you, Mr. Ramnavas.
So the topic we are discussing here is the public-private collaboration for railway projects. Historically, this starts from giving contract work to private sectors, and now it is reaching the public-private partnership with investment also coming from the private sector. In these things, the strength of the public sector setup and the investment capability of and agility of the private sector is synergized to deliver better services, cost-effective services, and faster execution of projects for the benefit of the society. So we are having few subtopics: transformative mobility solutions for all, best practices, challenges, and the way forward. So as told in the introduction, we'll be running short of time, and we'll be giving 6-7 minutes for each of the speakers, and to have a concluding round finally. So just to have the opening note: reinventing transport and mobility, shaping the public transport with the digitalization of public transport system, integrated ticket booking system, integrated transport system with all the transport system serving complementary to each other. That is the aim, and how far we are successful, then that will be beneficial to the society, even for the long distance trains operated by Indian Railways, or the metro trains operated by metro rail corporations, and the feeder buses or auto rickshaw services operated by local auto rickshaw owners. Everything put together is coming as an integrated system, and if we can integrate, now it is already being done by many places, by integration of ticketing, identification or locating the trains or cabs. These things are going on, further improving, and let's hope it will reach a faster way in a much better situation. And we are having transformative mobility solution or best practices, basically to have an integrated transport system, and public-private partnership for railway projects, the investment opportunities from the private sectors, their efficiency of the private sector. All these things will get synergized to the public sector's legacy knowledge and the administrative setup available. Now, another thing with regard to the modernization of railways. Railway modernization has, Indian Railways, it is having a legacy of 170 years. It is modernizing right from the beginning. Those who have worked in railways knows that what is the kind of sleepers we have used for the track, what is the kind of rails we have used. Now, at least in the 70s or 80s, we started making the long welded rails and getting rid of the rail joints every 13 meters. So it's not that Indian Railways were not modernizing, it was modernizing. It got rid of the wooden sleepers to prevent the deforestation, and it started welding the rails, and the coaches and trains are also improved. Now it is happening in a faster pace with the induction of VandeBharat Express, and now starting of the high-speed rail system, which is under implementation. And the infrastructure in railway system also, like bridges, are also of improved type. Old steel, traditionally railways were having all steel bridges, now it has become mostly concrete bridges. So modernization is happening, now we are keeping pace with the other industrial uh, progress or technological progress, and our pace is further increasing. And India to lead the world in advanced mobility services. India with its expertise, whether at the governmental level or in the private sector, we are having a good competent professionals either in the private sector or in the government sector, and the leadership and the entrepreneurial culture which we are having in the public and private sector. With that, we can go a long way in leading the world in the transport and advanced mobility solutions. Now, with this opening note, I'll request our eminent speakers to give their views and on the topic. And I will start with Sri Ajit Kumar sir, the MD of KRDCL, and I will have a few opening questions with him that I request him to discuss the very company which he is having, that is 50-50 partnership of Indian Railways and the Kerala government, that already one of the speakers in the forenoon session has told. And what are the projects and what are the technological advancements they are incorporating in the projects, the funding patterns, etc. Over to you, sir, please.
Good afternoon to all of you. Currently, Indian Railways is transporting about 1.3 billion, and we are supposed to move around 3 billion by around 2030. That is a challenge for the Indian Railways. And our Honorable Union Finance Minister, I think in the 2019 budget, she has stated that Indian Railways or Government of India will be investing around 50 lakh crores by year 2030. The amount of investment what we are doing right now for this year is 2.4 lakh crores, which is one of the highest, whereas we are aiming at around 50 lakh crore by year 2030, another 7 years in the line. So these are the challenges in front of the Indian Railways, it is the challenges in front of the industry, and the challenges in front of all the rail experts and the related experts. It is not rail alone, there are so many other fields. So that is the scenario in which we are standing today. And we are seeing a lot of, I want to make a comparison, that is why we are seeing a lot of developments in the national highway front. The national highway across the country has been already developed, and still developments are going on, especially in Kerala. We are a little late. Now our national highway NH66, which connects the north to south of Kerala, has been getting widened to 6 lanes. And we are also going for many greenfield lines like from Angamali to Trivandrum, a new greenfield line is coming. There is a Koilon to Shankota greenfield is coming. Palghat to Calicut, a greenfield alignment is coming. So there are a lot of developments happening in the national highway front. It has its own advantages. Everybody would like to have a better road and we can travel faster. There will be a lot of other incidental developments coming across the state, but is it advantages or is there any disadvantages? Yes, there are a lot of disadvantages. The carbon footprint will increase. In fact, Kerala, we have around 1.5 crore vehicles for a population of around 3.3 crores. It is almost around 440 vehicles for 1,000 people, which is almost nearer to that of the USA standards. USA, I think, around 530 vehicles for 1,000 people. So we are almost nearer to that. So with the national highways coming better, the number of vehicle population is going to increase. We are going to burn more diesel and petrol. So is there any alternative? This is what we should look. Yes, roads are rugged, but is there any better alternatives? Yes. That is what we have to see. You see the total emissions of the total, around 24% they come from the transport sector. Out of that 24%, the road sector is bringing around 74% of the carbon emission is from the road sector. And the rail industry brings less than 1% carbon emission. So, shall we look at rail industry? It is almost near, and Indian Railways is going to become net zero by in another 2 years. The full electrification, but there are some. By 2030, they will be net zero, far ahead of the government of India's commitment of 2017. So we should look at rail projects which can bring down the carbon emission. So, so rail, yes. The resources required for a rail project will be half, natural resources required for a rail project will be almost half of that of a road project. Road, you require bigger width, more land, you require more earth, you require all resources at double, whereas rail industry, you require half, you need to have more carrying capacity. In the morning, it was being told that the PSPD is around 70,000 people we can carry during peak hours, and it is having one of the highest safety compared with all other forms of transport. Rail have the highest safety and is faster also. Okay, right now maybe in some sections it may not be faster, but we have technology to make rail faster. So in this context, let me talk about the project which Kerala Rail Development Corporation, as a joint venture company between the Ministry of Railways and Government of Kerala, has been formed. We have identified a project, a Silver Line project. It is a semi-high-speed rail project connecting north of Kerala and south of Kerala, that is Trivandrum and Kasaragod, connecting all the districts on the north-south direction. It's a 530-kilometer double line system planned for with a design speed of around 220 km/h per hour. And that will take you from Trivandrum to Kasaragod in less than 4 hours compared with the current timings of around 10 to 12 hours in the rail or road. So compared with the 10 to 12 hours, it will get reduced to 4 hours, and it was projected at a cost of around 64,000 crores. This project, we were supposed to run around 37 trains on the north-south directions, which will shift around, which will have a ridership of around 79,000 people on a daily basis. It is supposed to shift around 12,000 to pull out 12,000 cars from the roads, and it is supposed to reduce the carbon footprint by around 2.3 lakh tons per year. So this is the model of the project, and as far as the PPP model is concerned, out of the 64,000 crores, the investment from the Government of India side is only around 2,150 crore. Balance money comes from the state government, it comes from the industry, it comes from the public, and some loan from multinational organization, multinational banks. So that is the model which I want to talk about. I leave it. Any questions are there? We can answer. Can I answer now or leave it to the last?
So maybe
We can leave it to the last.
अभी आपने KRDC के बारे में सुना कितने प्रोजेक्ट हैं, कितने प्रोजेक्ट नहीं हैं. I will be just elaborating what has already been told to us. So when we say railway project, how you perceive the railway project and how they are different than any other project. So railway project are basically combination of transport project, environment project, energy project, and health project. So it has already been told to you that roadways are not preferred alternative for any kind of thing if we are looking for environment. And it was told that roadways are creating
about 70% of carbon footprint if we see on the transportation sector. So when we see only the carbon footprint, then also you see the railway is much better than the roadways, but much worse than the carbon footprint is what you cannot see and what is being induced in your lungs indirectly by running a roadway project. Because as per the study done by Scotland in 2017, they have given the details of tire wear. There is a concept of tire wear. When roadways is there, road will be either of asphalt or it will be for cement. And then you will be running a tire over it, tired vehicle, and which is creating microplastics. And microplastics in the range of 2.5 ppm, which are not being seen, but they are suspended into environment. And you might have seen the, जो पहले आप नज़ारा देखते थे ना दूर तक का, वो आपको दिखता नहीं है, because lot of pollution is there in the area. So these microplastics are very, very dangerous for the health of human being. So once we introduce a railway project, we are not introducing only the railway project, a transportation project, but it is indirectly helping us in developing the conserving our environment, and also the less energy. The energy consumed in any railway transportation is much lesser than, it is almost 6 times more efficient than the roadways. And when we come for the say this dust particle of tire dust particle and road dust particle, if you see the total pollution which we create in the environment is, say if we take it as 100, then only 14% of it is basically carbon emission, which is coming out of the engine. But if we see the remaining pollution which is created in the air and the water, that is the tire dust and the road dust. So that we have to see how much we are going to create. Regarding the public-private participation, railway projects are always dealing with the public, and public is always participating in the railway project. Now comes only how the funding is to be done. So if we think about funding by a private partner in the field of say transportation, so he will be looking for the return. So if we see only the return out of fare, then it will not be possible that he will be getting the return which he is looking for. So he has to look for the transport as well as environment and the energy and the health. So our stakeholders are those companies who are working in these. So the major portion of what is the advantage of government funding it, government is working in all the fields. They are in all the fields. So in that field, government will invest basically in the transport, and by putting in the transport field, they fund in the transport field, they will be saving money on environment, energy and the health. So that way we need not to put more fund in the energy project, more fund in the health project, because health will be directly affected by this. So this is what I want to say. Before we going for any kind of project, we should see whether it is sustainable or not. We are saying sustainable means we are just seeing the whether the ROR is coming back or not. It may not be coming as a ROR back if we are doing a railway project, but if we consider all the things, the amount of fund we are investing in the health and environment, then the ROR is much better than, because whatever we are investing, more than that we are saving indirectly by not spending in environment, energy and health. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now SK Misra, DGM CEO from Canara Bank, and I would be expecting him to throw much light on the financing part of the PPP projects also. Thank you.
Sir, first of all, thank you for making us your partner and giving us the opportunity to express our views on financing under PPP model. This model, actually this is not new model, but nowadays from bank perspective we are getting lot of such proposals on PPP model only, and so far our experience is really satisfactory, and we have funded metro projects, we have funded road projects, we have funded even air projects. Even you may be knowing that KMRL we funded, and here also Kannur International Airport also we funded. In Hyderabad also we funded metro. In Mumbai also we participated. So wherever we see the opportunity, we are going forward to fund it. Being a bank, third largest PSB, we see our higher role in funding these projects. But of course, sometime we see some sort of risk also, because we all know that majority of our resources that will be the short term, and the gestation period of these projects will be little higher, a longer term will be there. So whenever we fund that time, certainly we see it should not create any ALM mismatch. Regarding other risk, what we see that sometime there will be cash mismatch, cash flow mismatch. Whatever the projections have been made and what we see actually, there will be some difference will be there. In that case, if government is coming forward and they are providing this viability gap, so that will give this comfort to bankers. Not only I am asking about Canara Bank, it will give comfort to bankers. It will give comfort to bankers. So that only we see little bit risk. Other than that, sometimes there will be some delay due to that delayed equity by the government, or sometimes there will be delayed approvals and all these things. But majority we see that now the PPP model is doing well only, and we are doing good number of projects. We are doing good number of projects, especially in construction and road sector. We are doing, and that's why our loan book is also nearly more than 120 crore in only in infra projects. Here in Kerala also, as our relationship with this state is almost 100 years old. 100 years old. So whenever we see any opportunity in Kerala, we are funding, whether it's a rail, whether it's an airport, or the road transport. And other than that, regarding that, in the morning, our CMD of Kochi Metro Rail, he was speaking about that connect. Yes, connect is very much required among all the stakeholders for the successful completion of the project on time. That is very much needed. And he was just talking about how we can make the life better. Yes, certainly. When we are talking about our smart cities, we are talking about ease of living, ease of doing business. In that area also, being a big bank, we are moving quickly, and we are just working on how we can make this ticketing better. And being a SLBC convener in Kerala, and we have declared recently, our Chief Minister declared that this state is fully digital. So now we in the morning session we discussed digitalization is very much required for making our city smart, or for making our life comfortable, for making us to do our business with ease. So in that direction also we are working, sir. And this regarding funding, any opportunity comes, we take it in a very positive note. And being a big bank, whenever recently also government of Kerala has given us that you appraise some projects, that consultancy service, and that also we are providing. We are moving in a unison with the local government, and this PPP model, my experience is that it is doing well. Some lacuna is there, so no system, no procedure will be perfect. There will be some sort of shortcomings here and there, and this is the only scheme now, PPP, which will push. In the morning we discussed that 100 metro road will be made, because recently RBI has flagged regarding finances of some state government. So they do not have money. They do not have much money to invest in these projects. So private participation is very much needed, and whenever such participation will come and projects will be viable, Canara Bank will not lag behind. And will be forthcoming in approving the projects, in taking lead, in even some sort of arranging the funds with other banks also. Thank you.
Allotted time up to 3:15. I have one short question to all these panelists, starting with Ajit Kumar sir. Sir, could you kindly just for 1 minute or 1.5 minute answer, like what is the technological advancements which are being proposed for the Silver Line project?
In fact, your answer will have to extend for 10 minutes. But there are so many technological advancement in the Silver Line project what we have planned. Basically, we are going for a standard gauge, other than the conventional broad gauge. The standard gauge is the one which has been on which the high-speed rails are running around the world, where for the last 30-40 years, trains at a speed of 300 plus is running. So that is a technological advance. As far as signaling is concerned, we are going for ETCS, European Train Control System, level 2, where it can take speeds up to 300 kmph. As far as telecom is concerned, we are going for LTE or the latest technologies. Then we are using structural health monitoring, where the health of the bridges, viaducts, retaining walls will be monitored 24/7 on the entire life cycle of that structure. Then for the operation and maintenance, the track structures are being monitored either through fiber systems or through onboard equipment. When the train runs itself, it will capture the track and all other track parameters through cameras and then analyze it. Then rolling stock, yes, we are planning for the EMU type, like similar to VandeBharat type of trains. And the traction power is 2x25 systems. And the power for the traction is 100% green, either solar or wind or other renewable power. So these are some of the items which I thought I can tell.
I know, sir. Thank you, sir. I know it's a long list and more elaboration will be required, but due to paucity of time, let me go to Sri H.K. Raghu, sir. So I would like to know you being in the rolling stock or specialized in rolling stock, what are the trains which are, status of the trains which are given on PPP, on Indian Railways? You have any idea which you can share?
Going for train operation in PPP mode, it is already on card, and there were some contract advertised, notified. However, what I already told, that whoever is going to invest in this kind of project, he is looking for a better return, which will not be possible for train operation if he is controlling only train operation. But if he is controlling other things also, like vending on stations or any other work, then it will be fruitful. So first attempt which we made in Lucknow itself, that was Tejas, which was run by IRCTC, and then other private players also came. But finally it was not very successful because train operation itself is not very lucrative.
Okay, sir. SK Mr. Sir, we have heard you and we got an insight of the funding aspects which Canara Bank is doing. So, do you have anything more to say?
This right now, also I told at that time, we see that this PPP model is doing well so far it is doing well. Only concern is regarding the gestation period, the longer period. For that we will be raising funds, and even this PPP model, they should also scout for some new avenues from where that funding can be made. Funding, instead of depending fully on banks, we can see that how other resources also can be harnessed for this metro rail or other big and higher gestation period projects.
I have got just a small idea to give it to you.
Yeah.
Say you are funding for roadways,
Yeah.
and you are funding for railways also,
Yeah.
for metros also,
Yeah.
and knowing well that roadways are not health conscious. So what I am telling, that if you go for some health bond,
Yeah.
and whatever money is coming from the health bond, if you invest in metros and railways, that will be more fruitful because your number of people who are going to be getting the advantage of health bond will be, they will be lesser and you will getting more money. In the same way, you can go for power bond and environment bond. So if you can launch such kind of bond, it will be not only beneficial for you and it will be working more beneficially, but also for the country itself and the world itself. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a continuous review process in our bank also, how we can generate the resources like that. And we continuously monitor our cost of fund because nowadays banks are operating in a very thin margin. And in coming days, the way competition is happening, this NIM will go down. We will go down only. So we are monitoring our cost of fund continuously, and appropriate decisions are taken at our office. So we will take your whatever opinion on your suggestions you have given. We will take it. But certainly that management continuously monitor, and we had this idea that whether we should raise the bond or not. Now, so far we have not raised. So far we have not raised. But we do give thought of these things, that whether we should raise a specific bond for a specific projects, or just we go and source the deposits or CASA from the market. So we do continuously review our resources.
See, rail projects, it is like a question. Rail projects, especially passenger rail projects, the IRR is very low. Metro projects will be around 2 to 3%. But when the DPR is prepared, they will make it better, make it 7 to 8% so that it will get sanctioned. Or economic IRR, they will boost it. Okay, economic IRR is there for rail projects, and it usually will be around 14 to 30%. So the project will get sanctioned. Now, since the IRR, the physical money coming is delayed. So naturally, the Indian banks has to extend loans or a long period. It has to be minimum of 20 years, which I think the Indian banks are not attractive, or they don't like that type of gestation period. But what the industry does is we go to multinationals, either JICA or ADB, AIB, because they have the models which can take up to 15 years plus. So whether the Indian bank industry can look into giving loans of that long gestation, that too when the IRR is less than around 8%, 6%, I know there has to be, like what Mr. Raghu had told, that some green bonds or health bonds. With that, you have to cross-subsidize and bring it. It should be attractive to the rail industry so that the environment will improve. There will be a lot of infrastructure. Thank you.
With regard to railway systems, basically it has got a lot of indirect benefits, and mechanically it is coming from the steel wheel and rail interaction, which is friction is very less, and also there is no tire wear dust, which Professor Raghu was telling. So railway system has got a lot of indirect benefits, environmental and otherwise, like energy consumption, etc. Anyway, we have heard all three eminent speakers, and we got an insight of what KRDSL is doing for the Silver Line project, which is about 530 kilometers and 63,000 crore, and which is having only government investment of less than 10%, both central government and state government together. So most of the other funding will be coming from other banks or private sector. So that aspect is already given, and the technological advancement which they are utilizing compared to the present railway system in place. And we also heard Professor H.K. Raghu with regard to the benefits of the railway system, and also some suggestions with regard to the funding for some incentives to be given to the borrowers. And we have also got an insight of the funding system being given by the Canara Bank and bank in general, and Canara Bank specifically what they are contributing to the infrastructure projects in India. Now I request the organizers, do we have any time left for taking any questions from audience, or?
We can have one or two questions.
So So with the paucity of time, we'll limit the number of questions to 2, as told by the organizers. If any question is there, kindly tell us. Yes, sir.
About the Kerite, has that been finalized, the rolling stock that you will use and the alignment and all, is it final stage or is it still there's some decisions to be taken?
See, as far as the project is concerned, we have already prepared DPR. Before that, we have already finished the feasibility report, submitted to the Railway Ministry. We have got in principle approval from the Railway Ministry. We have already tied up with almost all the banks for 33,000 crores. We have got the commitment from the Union Finance Minister that he can go ahead with the land acquisition. So once the DPR is prepared, then your the alignment is finalized, your type of rolling stock is finalized, almost everything is being done, except the final sanction which we are.
But will you be then going in for global tenders for rolling stock or are you looking for indigenous rolling stock?
See, right now our funding, 33,000 crore funding is from the JICA, ADB and other things, so we may have to follow some routes based on the funding agencies' requirement also, because some of the loans are tied loans.
I think one more question was there, probably we'll make it as the last question.
We have seen VandeBharat, it's really happening to see. But it's equally true that VandeBharat, it is not running to the speed what it is expected because of our track conditions. Currently, most of the terrains what we are using are very curvy, wherein we are not able to negotiate the speed. So we see that in Europe there are a lot many other train sets like pendulum and other kind of train sets wherein they are able to negotiate the speed. So do we in India we are planning such, and how we are going to improvise the speeds and improve the network?
Request HK Raghu.
Currently, we are not planning, but earlier we have planned and we did a lot of experiment also between Delhi to Agra. And it was successful, but the cost which is coming, that is much higher than the VandeBharat Express. So main thing comes the funding. So if you are having funding and whatever speed you are going to achieve, one study has been done with the Russian Railway on the existing track. Even we make our tracks say having less curve, then it will not be possible because the amount of jerk which is given by the train while it is running, that total the foundation of the track has to be improved. So that is not possible in the current, but that is again very costly. If we do a greenfield project, it will be easier. If we do a brownfield project, it will not be easier. Thank you.
One small point to be added is we are running goods train also in the same tracks where now Indian Railways is operating. So goods trains usually run at 45 kilometers per hour. So the curvature, curvature is less, it is okay. If curvature is more, we have to give super elevation according to the faster trains. Otherwise, canned access will be there. There is a limitation for that also. So operational problems will be there. So the only solution is to have more corridors with flatter curves and so lesser slope gradients, etc. Thank you. I think we can conclude.
So thank you, Mr. MP Ramnavas, Director of Projects, Kochi Metro, for conducting this session so well. I know we are running behind the time and this discussion could have gone forth. It was quite an interesting topic. But because of the constraint of time, we have to conclude it here. Kochi Police Commissioner K. Seturaman is here with us. So I would request the Police Commissioner to come on the dais and hand over the speaker mementos to the speakers of this just concluded panel. The panel topic was public-private collaboration opportunities for railway projects. Dr. MP Ramnavas. Mementos, please. Next memento for V. Ajit Kumar, Managing Director, Kerala Rail Development Corporation. H.K. Raghu, Senior Professor, Rolling Stock, Indian Railways Institute of Transport. And S.K. Mishra, Deputy General Manager, Canara Bank. So thank you all the panelists on the dais.